Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Tuesday, October 31st. It's Halloween, ladies and gentlemen. So make sure that you have the Halloween spirit as you listen to the show. You've tuned into the NFT Morning Show live from Amsterdam.
As you listen to the show, what does that even mean?
It means as they listen to the show, they should have the Halloween spirit.
Do you have the Halloween spirit?
Maybe.
So how does that like manifest? You're not wearing any costume. That would be like the primary means of having the spirit, and it doesn't look like you have it.
We're going to go to a costume store for different reasons after this that you don't know about, but don't worry.
For different reasons? We're doing a little sex play here.
Ladies and gentlemen, today we have
I'm going to be dressing up in leather.
We have today.
Pio's going to whip me.
We're going to discuss the StarsArena final meltdown, the huge announcements coming out of Solana NFT projects that are happening right now at Breakpoint, and the recent surge in Bitcoin Ordinals. But I'd say the most important thing is that Nick O'Neill is now in Amsterdam, which was pretty good stuff. How you feeling, Nick, to finally be here?
Well, I just took a 30-minute nap, and I feel pretty fresh.
You're also drinking caffeine.
I am. I took a nap with caffeine. It was kind of just like a haze. It was like I was kind of awake, kind of asleep, but it felt really good. That was the first bed I've been in a while because despite being in the first class of the airplane, which is, don't get me wrong, that was an incredible sort of setup there. But I came to terms with the fact that just sleeping on a plane, period, sucks. Like, it doesn't matter if you're laying flat on a bed in first class. It also, where your seat is located makes a huge difference. I was close to the kitchen or the entry, wherever they prepare everything, and they're just clanging shit the entire night. So, like, I got up. I was like, can you guys quiet down? Look, people here are trying to sleep. And they were like, we're not doing that, sir. Like, we need to make the breakfast for you for the morning that you're going to eat. So I ate it. But either way, yeah, I ended up making it. Yesterday was a hell of a journey. I think all in, I must have been traveling. If we don't include the previous day, I basically was moving from as soon as I called the passport agency. So I was out my door by 9 a.m. and I quit traveling. I arrived here at 10 a.m. Amsterdam time. So 19 hours of traveling.
Damn. You would have thought that you went to Hong Kong or something for A-Fest. 19 hours of traveling is no joke. Our videographer just got in from London. He had a whopping 1-hour flight from London to get to Amsterdam. Fun fact, I haven't actually even been to Amsterdam yet since we've been here. We've only been in Zaandam or Zaandam. I don't know how to pronounce it exactly.
It's Zaandam.
I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
That's what the people in the streets were saying.
With a Southern American accent.
I don't even know if that was Southern American. By the way, if for those that are on YouTube, you see the mic setup that we have. Pio's like, wow, these things are just absolutely incredible. Let's be clear. The weight of this microphone, of just holding it, is way more than the previous setup that I had suggested. But Pio likes it because he wants to use this mic everywhere. This is like, I'm doing arm curls with this mic.
It's not that heavy, ladies and gentlemen.
I think it's like a whole thing.
We're getting an indicator of Nick's fitness level right now, because if this is a heavy microphone situation for you, I think that we do have to work on some strength training so that you have more endurance in the arm, because I mean, let's just be real. This thing is not very heavy at all.
It's a little bit loppy, a little bit offside. It's kind of, what are you saying,
Nick,
Signal?
No, I really want to ask, right? So you woke up you left the house 9 a.m. You flew somewhere called Buffalo to go get a passport to then fly back to New York. Is that right? To then not go back home, but to run for a flight, which, like, how much time did you have between flight from when you landed domestically and then to get the international? Because I find that's the bit which like gives the highest anxiety when you're running the map through your head.
Okay, well, if I'm being completely transparent, I would say that the distance that I had to travel was not, well, actually, it was one terminal. So it was basically me sprinting across the full length of an entire terminal. It was all JetBlue. So I was still on the same airline, which made it convenient. They knew they were waiting on somebody ultimately, and I was the last person on the plane. As I was getting ready to, what do you call it? Deplane. I stood up, and the guy in front of me, steps up to cut me off, basically. And then we're waiting for them to like open up the door. And I see the way that this guy is standing, like he's like standing like with his back towards me, being like, I know you're trying to get out of here, but we ain't having none of that. You're not beating me out the door. Then he hears me. So then there's a woman who's like, who's next to me. She's like, oh, would you like to sit on my lap? This older woman, because I guess I was too in her space, and I was like,
well, so it was a snark. It was a little bit.
I now have two people, so I'm creating enemies all around, but I melted them in a moment. I was like, no, what I would like to do is get the hell off this plane, because the doors to the plane that I'm running to is closing in 5 minutes, and it's an international flight. And suddenly that dude sat down, was like, yo, it's all good, bro. And like essentially let me through. And literally there was like a gasp from the people that were around me, being like, oh my God, like this is a situation. And I definitely like played into it. There's no doubt. And so then I get off the plane, and it was full sprint mode at that point, because I genuinely thought that I was going to miss this other flight. I was surprised that my bags arrived from Amsterdam, from JFK, from that connecting flight. But when I checked the bag, I literally I was like, hey, you have a priority tag thing that you guys can use to make sure it gets like at the exit. Can you add that? And I forced them to do that, and that like solved the problem. So my bag got here. I was shocked when I came out. I was like ready to not have clothes. Was the situation I was preparing for. But yeah, I sprinted there, and I basically almost cried when I arrived at the gate, because I actually, despite all the video content there had been the night before, I was so angry about this passport situation. I was just devastated, because I showed up to the airport. I mean, I talked to you on the phone, Pio. And Pio was disappointed as well. He was like, I felt like we were all just like, what the hell? And then I go home, and suddenly, between leaving the ticket desk, where I'm just like so flustered, and getting home, I lose my passport, the expired passport, because I was going to go with one of those 24-hour places to renew it, which, by the way, I got in touch with a guy, and he said it was going to cost $1,500 was the fee for them to get me the passport the next day. So I was like, fuck it, I'm not doing that. But in the process, I couldn't find the passport. So I then get in the car and drive back to JFK, send my girlfriend inside. She can't, the lost and found can't find it. I drive back, which is another like hour and a half. And now I'm just like deflated. Wake up in the morning, and I'm like, all right, this is what we're like, I'm just going to call. And from then on, it was just off to the races, basically. Like, I was like prepared for a day that was going to be entertaining and exhausting at the same time. And that's exactly what happened. I was like, they want to send me to New Hampshire. I couldn't get a flight to New Hampshire. They sent me to Buffalo, and I was like, okay, I have a flight that gets there 5 minutes before this appointment. Let's just go. And so went. That was it.
Dude, well done, man. Oh, that is honestly, like, the stress that you must have gone through. Well done for getting to Amsterdam. I always say the most stressful part is that transfer. Even if your passport is valid, that transfer window, when you have that 5 minutes, I swear to God, the only thing that keeps me running at like Usain Bolt speed is like, this is why I train. I train for these moments to catch a plane. And then you start to see that your friends who haven't trained, well, they're going to miss the plane anyway. So I want to say shout out. Well done, Nick, because that wasn't easy.
There's a lot of footage that did not get presented, by the way, that I want to have our team put together a recap here, because there's actually a lot more footage. I was just making the Twitter version of it that I thought would be entertaining for the viewers. But I also was just like stressed the hell out the entire time. I'm literally like walking around Buffalo with this like huge bag on my back, and a guy came up and was like, literally about to ask me for money, and I just like immediately was like, "Yo, no, get away."
Like a homeless gentleman.
Like some guy, I don't know. He wasn't homeless. He was like just a sketchy dude. And as he walked away, he was like, "Yo, man, you don't need to be so grumpy." And I was like,
Grumpy
"Are you
Nick.
kidding me?" I was like, "Yo, let's have a conversation about what's going on in our lives right now, sir." Anyways, I made it. I'm here. I don't even know. Like, I'm sort of debating. Coming to Amsterdam is like the time zone change to come for a few days. Is like, I don't know. Like, is this even worth it? We'll find out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nick has never been to a single Solana event ever, and he almost got out of being coming to this Solana event. But now today is going to be the glorious day that he actually sees a Solana event with his own eyes, which I do think he's going to find interesting. I love how he's like, was it even worth it? You probably feel that way because he had to go through hell and high water because of this passport issue to actually get there.
No, I just think like I looked up how long it takes to adjust to a time zone. It takes 5 days for 5 time zones. That's basically what the situation is. Now, I think it's possible that I'll be mostly adjusted tomorrow. That's my anticipation. So I feel like I'll be like 70%, 80% of the way there, which is sufficient.
You'll be just fine, buddy. You got a little nap in you. You got some coffee.
Did you set the thermostat in this room, by the way? It's like literally like 85 degrees inside of here.
I don't know how to change it. If you want to figure that out, that'd be cool. I opened the window overnight. I opened the window. Easy said there is air conditioning. I think he said it's like in the bathroom. I wasn't really looking for the air conditioning in the bathroom, but
these hotel rooms are actually kind of whack. I'm gonna be honest. There's a And apology for using all this time to discuss the Amsterdam situation, but last comment on this. The sauna, so we have a sauna in the room. That's like the showcase of this room. But like, there's not a dresser. You can't there's nothing to put your clothes, like literally nowhere.
Put them on these shelves.
There's shelves, but it's just an
on the floor.
exposed shelf, basically.
Yeah. The
floors are just tile. So it's like the bed is in a bathroom, basically, is what the situation is. Like there's no carpet or anything like that. It is excessively large, like in terms of the space, but I'm not sure what you would do in this room. And then it's one of those places with like the pumps on the like built into the shower where like the shampoo body wash thing is like an all-in-one situation. So it's like all very, it feels like basically for the US side would be not Holiday Inn, Holiday Inn Express, but potentially worse, but with a sauna. But the location is sick. So I'll give it 5 stars on the location. For Zandam. Give it up for Zandam.
Well, there we go. Clemente, you put into the call sheet here, why am I whispering in all my videos? Is that something that you've been wondering, Clemente?
Yeah, all your videos that you've been recording yourself, you're like whispering super quietly.
Well, in the shawarma one last night, Zandam is not, people in the United States don't understand, like this town closes down early. Like this is totally different than New York City. Everybody's clearly sleeping. There's not a person on the street at 11:30 p.m. Everyone's clearly, being quiet.
There's like an old dude staring into our window, and he has a menorah, which is interesting, but like not lit, and it's not Hanukkah.
Well, there you go. Anyway,
shout out to my fellow Jews, though.
I did not want to wake up the entire, lovely city of Zandam or Zandam. And yeah, so anyway, that's kind of the situation. People saying that the shawarma was disappointing. They didn't eat it. That's why they didn't actually eat the food. The food's phenomenal. I wanted a lamb shawarma. They were all done with that. It was sold out. No surprise because it's phenomenal. But I had a beef one last night. It was really good. That was the second time eating at that place.
The shrooms are kicking in for Nick. I feel like a large portion of the audience is like the 16-year-old versions of ourselves. I did come to Amsterdam when I was 16, and some degenerate behavior did go down, but I don't have that on the agenda for this trip.
Well, there you go. Some people are talking about like the red light district area of Amsterdam running 24/7. Kind of, but not actually. It's not like you could just go to a bar over there.
Pio checked it out last night at 4 a.m. Could not get laid.
There you go, ladies and gentlemen. Anyway, as I pointed out, the things that we're going to talk about, we're going to dive into StarsArena's final meltdown, the huge announcements coming out of Solana NFT. What are you laughing at?
You flustered by that statement? I don't know what's going on. He's like, yeah, it sucks. Couldn't get laid out in the red light district at 4 a.m. last night.
Okay. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to take a moment to thank the partner of today's show, Plague Poppets. Okay, so Plague Poppets are a 3D animated collection by artist Julie Adams, powered by a team who has worked on projects like Robot Chicken and others on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. Maybe you've heard of it. Anyway, the 3D animated NFTs will come with interchangeable accessories, an AR app, an on-chain journaling for storytelling, and IP usage for holders, among other really cool features and functionality. The collection first began as a physical product during the pandemic, as artist Julie Adams saw the huge impact that the lockdowns were having on adult mental health. As the physical collection grew in popularity, Julie realized the need for more adults to go back to their playful nature and wanted to scale her vision without compromising the quality of her collectibles. The team's been working on this collection for over 18 months. So if you are interested in participating in an interactive mental health driven collection, then go to plaguepoppets.io/mint. Clemente will have the link on the stage, the Twitter stage pinned, and also on the YouTube channel. It'll be on screen. Use the pinned tweet to mint your Poppet now. The mint is now open with limited edition spooky traits available for a limited time. So really pumped about Plague Poppets. We are going to have the team on video later on in the show. Going to be a great time. Let's throw to Signal for the weather report. Signal, please take it. Nick muted himself. He's got the AC working. Well, you got to shut that window then, buddy, because we got the window open.
Well, I'll do that in a sec.
Okay. Signal, please take it away.
Yeah, absolutely, folks. Happy Halloween. The only person dressed up on the team is Clemente, but he is looking saucy in his prison wear.
As?
A criminal, can't you tell?
What do you think?
Convict.
SBF, dude.
Oh, there we go. I really needed to zoom in order to see that, dude. Like, it just looks like you're wearing an orange polo shirt.
Nice orange polo shirt. Happy Halloween.
You're looking sharp, Clemente. You're looking sharp. There you go. Looking sharp. Anyway.
The only one that dresses up, putting in effort, and you're just sitting there making fun of me. This is bullshit.
My bad.
Nice costume, buddy.
Onto what's actually happening in NFTs. You got market volume coming in just shy of 13 million. Blur taking the lion's share at 9.2, OpenSea at 2.5. If we look at what's actually happening in the market leaders, well, got Bored Apes, they're up 3%. They've actually broken 30 ETH. DGod's up 2%, and Captain's down 4% to 5.7 ETH. Other movers include Rug Radio, they're up 40%. MadLads also doing very well, up 12%. Poppin now pulled back, down 9%, and Cool Cat's down 8%. Over on the main stories of the headlines, we're going to be looking at StarsArena meltdown as they have announced that the team member Kook Capital has been let go, and they're going to be transitioning to a
team member.
Kook Capital, a key team member, and they're going to be transitioning to a completely new team member. A completely new team without any presence of an old member. But Kook is coming in with the all-exclusive and is threatening to expose it all today as he alleges shady behavior from the StarsArena team. So look out for that. Meanwhile, Friendtech recorded 1.5 million in volume yesterday, and the Friendtech founder Racer teased a potential Friendtech 2 coming. Overall on the PFP side, and Jack Butcher and Snowpeppin made its debut last night. We talked about this on the show yesterday. The set currently holds a floor of 5.1 ETH and saw a high sale of 7.7. This absolutely cooked. With Poppin whale board Elon Musk, he owns over 700 Poppins, revealing the Grail Hyper one of one. Poppin saw a 20% dip post set reveal before recovering back to 0.44. Over on Ordinals, it's been a while since we've spoken about these guys, but Bitcoin frogs have seen a 2x in floor price in the last 48 hours as the Ordinals volume has begun heating up again, like the rest of the market. The collection now holds a 0.04 Bitcoin, so 0.04 BTC, which is roughly about $1,400, while Ordinals recorded 1.4 million in NFT sales in the last 24 hours. And then lastly, over on Solana, we had Claynosaurus reveal the adventure begins, cute animated cartoon trailer, and an interactive mobile app during the event. And then MadLads announced that they'll be launching a cryptocurrency exchange with general public access coming in Q1 next year. Claynosaurus floor held pretty steady, while MadLabs absolutely ripped 40% up to 75 Sol, which is about $2,700. That is all, folks. So it is back to you in Amsterdam.
I like that you call it Clanosaurus. Like Tyrannosaurus.
What do you call it?
It's Clanosaurus.
Well, you know, when you do that with the name,
your version of it. I'm going to be honest, but that's literally not what the brand is. It's not Clanosaurus, but I do like it.
It makes sense. It makes sense. And everybody knows which collection I'm talking about. And the trailer absolutely smacked. I really like their trailer that they just came out with. It was really, really good. Studio quality, something that you think would come out from a Hollywood team. So
they are a Hollywood team. Like literally they are a Hollywood production studio based in Canada, but Hollywood production studio that all worked on, Netflix, actual Hollywood movies, TV shows. I feel like I'm having like heart palpitations from the caffeine. By the way, total aside.
People were saying that we should gear up. Did you drink? Oh, you did drink the whole thing. So that's a lot of caffeine. But are you going to be okay?
Yeah, I'm good. If worst case scenario, I'll just like puke it out. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Well, he's had a coffee, ladies and gentlemen.
It's a decaf, by the way. It's not even.
No, I thought you said you were going to get a caffeinated coffee.
Decaf has caffeine.
Wow. We'll see if he'll be able to handle this decaf that he just knocked down, ladies and gentlemen. Some other updates from the Nifty Daily Digest. Daily Digest is posted to X every morning and is pinned up top. It is emailed to anybody that subscribes at thenifty.com. Why did I say it that way? FTX unstakes over $56 million of Solana and raises selling pressure fears. While Solana rips to a 12-month high of 36 bones, 36 buckaroos, a big old number there for Solana. I thought you were going to say something. Bored Ape Yacht Club shares more items from their Bape collab featuring a Bape backpack, hat, hoodie, shoes, and a plushie. I got to see that plushie. Clement, do you got a picture of that plushie? But oh, look at that thing. That thing's pretty cool. Moving on, Courtyard sells out a token-gated community drop featuring 500 packs for $99 each. Very impressive stuff from our pals over at Courtyard. Phantom launches the camera mint feature, which allows users to turn photos and videos taken from a phone camera into Solana NFTs instantly. Next story, CryptoPunks and Avant Art physical print drop has closed.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, actually, I didn't see that part. I made a decision not to purchase this. I was looking at how many people bought the individuals, and I was just like, nah, not enough people falling for this scam.
Well, there you have it. Some people bought it. Nick didn't. Moonbirds proposed to change the oddity burning window to November 15th instead of February 15th. That window's coming up fast. It's coming up soon. It's pretty crazy, right? Okay.
It is.
The All In podcast hosts have announced that they're looking for a CEO, with Chamath claiming a possible future $1 billion valuation for the media and live events business. You buying into that SPAC, Nick?
Well, I'm not buying a SPAC. That is interesting that, wow, they're like such a volatile group, the All In podcast. I think what happened was after they hosted that event, they were all like, oh, this is like actually a thing. Like, I feel like they now have this thing and they're like, shit, okay, we got to do something with this thing. It is significantly cooler in here, by the way, since I turned on that air conditioning.
Did you shut the window?
I have not done that yet. I'm trying to just waste some electricity on this hotel, I guess. But That's great news. You know, that's fascinating. The top story there was really Kook Capital, his involvement. How did that guy get employed? How did he get hired? Where did that happen? So he came on, he had a lot of insight about friend tech. We weren't familiar with him previously, and he felt sort of like disrespected by some of the behavior that we were having because he wasn't really ready to play ball the way that we were playing ball. And the way that we play ball was like
do a podcast.
But also like make jokes at his expense periodically. I feel like was kind of part of the game.
He wasn't speaking English is the problem.
Yeah, and he was dropping a lot of like different words. And what was the domino rally was one of the things.
I think that's the most memorable term,
the most iconic part of it. But somehow he got employed by this other company, and then is now getting ready to expose the thing weeks after he first got hired and then let go. He didn't make it 2 weeks, and now he's getting ready to expose the scam. I actually am sort of on the side of the scammers here. Like, there's a lot of people that are saying, like, I don't know enough about this situation, but like, it's been a volatile experience with StarsArena. First, they have all the money in there, then the wallet gets complete, everything gets drained. Then they have a team member. Then the guy kicks out 2 of the team members, of which one was Kook Capital, the infamous Kook Capital, who'd come on this show just like I feel like was a wrecking ball, just coming into the like really no agenda, and was just like we're gonna play this show the way that I play all shows. Like the way that the ones that every space I've been on, which had no structure whatsoever. Anyways, so what's like the final synopsis on this sort of StarsArena situation? Like, where is the like? Is it a scam? Like, was there actual scam activity going on here?
So the CEO was let go or resigned, but apparently he still has the development over the last 24 hours that he still has access to the multi-sig wallet, and basically kicked off Kook Capital and another founder of StarsArena. And now I think there are 3 multi-sig signatures required, and he has access to 2 of them. So, but the thing is, a TVL on StarsArena has just fallen off a cliff. There's less than $200,000 in that now, up from before I think it peaked at
$200.
200,000.
Okay.
But it's just
this giant market that's valued at $200.
So sounds like a typical NFT valuation. Clemente?
Wow, look at that.
3 million. Then it got exploited, and then they recouped the funds basically, and it got up to 1.6, almost back up to 2 million. And it's just been a black diamond ski slope after that little domino rally.
That one looks like a blue, to be completely honest. I could ski that. Like that's not too extreme. Borderline green in Switzerland. Like in Switzerland, they got like kids going down like black diamonds. Some of that stuff, I don't know if you've seen Swiss ski slopes, but let me tell you, if you're like on, you're going up just to view the mountain because you're like, I would never ski down that thing. And you're like on the gondola going up, and you're just looking down, and kids are just darting down like a cliff. And it's ice. Like the whole thing, like it's like, because you always imagine like the difference between East Coast, West Coast skiers in the US. West Coast is like the fluffy powder snow. Well, Switzerland kids are willing to go down a like straight, like double black diamond, full ice down the mountain. And you're like, what is going on?
What do they sound like while they go down?
Wee! Like they're literally
Cool
just
as
like,
cucumbers. They're cool as cucumbers. These kids, man. Like I was in Zermatt skiing, and you literally see 6-7-year-olds who basically go skiing every single like Thursday as part of their school curriculum. Just go past you with no fear, full speed, better technique, and you're just going there like. You know, you think you're a pretty good skier. I 100% agree with you, Nick. Like the whole Swiss-French Alps skiing situation is like bring your A game and bring good gear as well, because like you don't want to look like a loser on those slopes.
I'm not going down them. The ones that I've seen were so steep that I was just like, how are these kids? I was just astonished by the children that were going down the mountain. And I feel like I'm willing to do intermediate stuff, I would say. And I'll even go down black diamonds once in a while. But it just felt the Swiss Alps that I was at. Anyways, what a tangent, as the commenter said.
Bunny, what do you make of StarsArena and Kook Capital airing them out after his 2-week stint of employment?
And have you skied before, Bunny?
No, I've never been. I hate the snow, dude. I hate cold weather. I hate the snow. I got snow tubing once. I've never gone skiing or snowboarding. Well, StarsArena's on AVAX, right? So that was probably the first mistake they made. The second one, dude, getting 2 of the 3 signatures on the multi-sig. I mean, that sounds like a heady play for Chill Pill. Right? I mean, that means you have all the control of the multi-sig. And then the Kook thing got real interesting because I don't know if you guys saw it, but he ended up going into like a blackmail. He started blackmailing the rest of the company.
Sounds about right.
Well,
that sounds about right.
Well, he's not U.S. based here, so I don't know what the blackmail laws are.
Well, this is more aggressive than the Magic Eden blackmail that was going on, the sexist Magic Eden blackmail that was taking place. Sorry, I'm blanking on her name right now.
Exactly.
Carson?
No, who was just talking about the party not getting in because she's a female.
Michaela.
Michaela. Who was on my flight.
In her defense, should a female ever get denied from an NFT event? Right, like that's actually a pretty decent point.
Well, I mean, wow.
No girls allowed, ladies and gentlemen, at the NFT events. That's the way the NFT guys like it. Hey, the events that I went to yesterday at Breakpoint felt like they had that rule. You know what I'm saying?
Really?
There's not a lot of women at these events.
Well, to be fair,
Newsflash.
this is a crypto event, not even an NFT event. Somehow we're like trying to merge them. We're trying to see the NFT space is trying to like upscale itself into the crypto space because like there's a wider audience. But then what happens is you get to the crypto events and you're like, oh shit, these people are crazier than us. Like these people are like excited about coins. So they're like, yo, XRP, man, you got to get that thing. Like that, like it's literally ticker symbols. They have as much enthusiasm about ticker symbols as we do about images, but without the image. And I feel like the image is a key element of creating the culture and the narrative around it, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it actually is completely wild how segmented the events, or just how segmented this industry is. I met a guy that was here for Breakpoint. He's a DeFi guy yesterday. We just got to chatting. I brought up Frank and D-Gods. I don't remember why it was brought up. Had no idea who Frank or D-Gods were at all. No clue. And I'm not saying that everybody needs to know that. I just thought it was interesting. Like, you're literally at a Solana event. This was the consensus #1 Solana collection for like a calendar year. You have no clue who they are. You've never heard of it. It's interesting to me. I
mean, I feel like there is a play at this point. Like, why wouldn't you just put it all in Solana and just move on? You know, like
the NFTs?
No. Just skip the NFT thing. There is a valid position to have to be like, I'm just going to buy Solana, make 100x, and then and just leave it in that. I mean, it feels like
it's safer. It's definitely safer.
Yeah.
Anyway, so we can move on. I don't know why you just anyway. So we got.
Sorry, we were reading. I was reading the comments as well. Witters was discussing the gaggles of women at Bitcoin Amsterdam.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm witnessing Nick's ADD in a way that I never have seen it before. I'm right next to him. So
well, it's because I'm also observing how you're managing the screen. So we're hopping between the script and like you don't minimize, you don't condense it to one side so that we can see everything on the other side. So now I'm blind I can't see anybody else. Anyways, this is like we're just breaking the you know, they say you're breaking the 8th wall. You know what I'm saying?
The 8th wall. I don't know about
what they talk about in production.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm trying to accommodate Nick's needs here by shuffling between windows with spreadsheets and things like that. We're going to talk about StarsArena just a little bit more.
Wait, there was another subject. Now you're all over the map. I want to apologize to everyone because Pio's now literally like dealing with browser tabs. All right, there was another subject here, the MadLads one. That one is actually like a pretty big deal.
Okay. Do you want to lead that discussion?
Well, the context of it, the timing of it could not be better. So I want to start with that because of the SBF trial that's going on right now. So SBF is just getting skewered at this moment by the attorney general. They're just absolutely, this woman is just stomping all over Sam, basically. And the MadLads story, the context of this is that really FTX should not have been allowed to be an exchange as far as I'm concerned. Like, there were no standards implemented across the board. Some of the transcripts that were that from and the quotables from Sam were that like the bugs that existed were bugs that should not have existed and should have been audited at some point in time. Like, they should have essentially stress tested the system at some point as they were building it, but they were just winging it basically. And as things would go along, as things would break, they would just go fix it. And that's not the ideal way to be running like an accounting system, for example, like a ledger. That's not the way. So there were a number of things that were utilized here. They were also able to generate collateral for Alameda, and which was completely ridiculous. Like, Sam's stake in FTX was the primary collateral used by Alameda to get a line of credit from FTX themselves, which is like, what? I don't understand how that's even valid. If you were in the traditional finance space, you'd probably be arrested like straight out the gate for doing something like that. It just wouldn't be accepted. What they're doing with MadLads and the exchange that's being built here is full transparency and auditability, which to me is just the foundation of what should be going on, to show what's collateralized, how much money, all the assets that are available. Being able to see all of those things directly is the future of this. And I don't know that, like, what's the situation with, and I'm trying to think, like, Uniswap is decentralized, so they don't have to have the assets on hand. That's just being done between all the LPs. I guess the distinction here, I don't know all the nuances of the features, but I do think that there's like, the visibility to me is the biggest thing. And the fact that it can be audited by anybody is just so huge and something that's needed. Whether or not people use it, that's a whole other story. I have no idea. But I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people do it internationally. I don't know if US people will be allowed to do that.
No clue.
My guess is no.
The floor surged 35%. The floor on MadLads, that is, ladies and gentlemen, 35% on the news, over 70 Solana floor at this point, with that crypto exchange with license from Dubai that was specifically mentioned to be available to the general public in 2024. So very, very interesting stuff there. Real quick, want to take a moment to shout out the partner of today's show, Plague Poppets. Plague Poppets are a 3D animated collection by artist Julie Adams, and is powered by a team that's worked on projects like Robot Chicken on Cartoon Network's Adult Swim. I mentioned that earlier. Huge name here in the United States for sure. I'm sure that people
we're not in the US.
Well, we are actually not in the US. You are correct, but we do live there normally. The 3D animated NFTs will come with interchangeable accessories, an AR app, on-chain journaling for storytelling, IP usage for holders, and more. The collection first began as a physical project during the pandemic as artist Julie Adams saw the huge impact that the lockdowns were having on adult mental health. As the physical collection grew in popularity, Julie realized the need for more adults to go back to their playful nature and wanted to scale her vision without compromising the quality of her collectibles. The team has been working on the collection at this point for over 18 months. And if you are interested in participating in an interactive mental health driven collection, you can go to plaguepoppets.io/mint, or you can use the pinned tweet to mint your Poppet now. The mint is open with limited edition spooky traits available for a limited time, obviously in honor of Halloween. Nick?
That's Poppets, not puppets. So PLAGUEPOPPETS.io. That's what you're looking for. Poppets. Bop it. You know that game?
I do remember that game. That is not related to this.
It's not related, but it's what popped into my head.
Okay. Clemente has the links pinned to Twitter, and he will have them on the banner on YouTube also. Look, I mean, the StarsArena stuff is interesting. It has been a disaster.
You keep wanting to go back to that.
Maybe I'll just close on that. Maybe Kook Capital, we should hire him to work at our company so that he can come
Expose.
Well, he can give us really innovative stuff that in lingo that we don't understand. Then he'll rage quit, and then he'll blackmail us because he has so much info. I actually do feel like that would be a fun and interesting thing to do. Moving on.
That would be exciting. Maybe we hire him and like sort of mistreat him. Like, I think that is he based in the U.S. That would be illegal.
Bunny.
But if you're international, they allow it. You know what I'm saying? Like, what are you gonna do? You're gonna fly to the U.S. and sue us? I would like to find some employees we could just properly mistreat.
Well, Bunny said that he's not in the U.S. So I think it is an option. Anyway, Bitcoin Ordinals surging. In the last 48 hours, Bitcoin frogs have seen their floor price double to a point.
There were 10 sales.
To a 0.042 Bitcoin floor, roughly $1,400 US. There's been, get this, $1.4 million in Bitcoin Ordinals volume in the last 24 hours.
Holy shit.
Hey, Nick, not 10 sales. How about 100, buddy? Look at that. 4.7 Bitcoin traded in the last 24 hours for the Bitcoin frogs.
I mean, that's a lot of cash. You know what I'm saying?
It's a lot of
and
cash.
with 80% of that, these frogs?
I don't know about 80. Clemente, go.
I mean, a good amount of it. I mean, the second was Bitmap with 0.7 Bitcoin traded.
What about Ordinal MaxiBiz?
Ordinal MaxiBiz had 3 sales, so they had 0.48 Bitcoin traded. Their floor's 0.17, so 3 sales.
Wasn't the floor on those like 1 Bitcoin at some point?
Clemente, do you have the all-time high pulled up? We have the founder, ZK Shark, is in the crowd listening, so I'm sure he's getting a lot of insight.
Oh, we're about to expose that project for the truth. I've been influenced by Kook Capital. And we're coming for you, ZK. We're gonna expose the truth.
We worked at Ordinal MaxiBiz for 2 weeks.
We worked there, and let me tell you, that place is an absolute train wreck.
Anyway, so Bunny, what do you make of the volume?
To be honest, we've pivoted a couple times also. So I mean, but I don't think we haven't been rugged. So like that's one thing. We have not been exploited. Our contract has not been exploited and drained. So that's one thing that's positive that's going for us.
You know?
We have not been hacked. We've not hired team members that have like drained our bank accounts or any of our wallets so far.
Yep.
In fact, all the people that have had access to our wallets have been very trustworthy.
And nobody has ever written a hateful thread after they've been let go either. Well, once we fire Clemente, I think he'll
that's
probably
why they want to keep.
But get ready.
They want to keep the reputation because they know that if they come after, at least me, I'm probably going to just be like just become an abusive ex-employer,
Okay.
And just be like, oh, that person never did anything for us.
There you go. Bunny, what do you make of this volume on Ordinal surging in the past 24 hours? What do you think of that, Bunny?
Well, one thing, I already have the thread written, right? Just in case I ever get let go, it's saved to drafts. I'm just waiting.
Well, I want you to expose us. Actually, I have a better question for Bunny, unless Bunny wants to talk about Ordinals.
Got a better question.
Yeah. Well, the Bored Ape situation that's going on. Has your relationship improved in the past 36 hours, basically?
Oh, because of the floor price going up? Yeah, I got laid last night. Dude, she saw the floor was back over 50K. That kind of sealed the deal.
So, all right, you got.
I'm having more success than Pio is in the red light district.
Well,
that's a callback to your joke from earlier, Nick.
It was good. I feel bad for having brought that up now because it is really some jockey, sports jockey style.
Locker room talk.
Like this is locker room talk, as Donald Trump would say. It's just locker room talk. Except his is way more focused on the harassment side, but we'll skip over that. So the ape floor, what is the current value of apes? Is it 60,000?
It's like 55.
I mean, it's still a big win because you were down bad. You were like 38 at one point, right?
Yes.
So okay, we're almost back to double. What do you think they're a buy here?
Oh dude, they're free here. Are you kidding me? 55K is fun. Nick, if you don't have a PFP worth $55,000, don't talk to me. Don't at me.
I do.
Yeah, I know you do. You're the only one who I can talk to.
Bunny, what if I just take my the Bitcoin logo and make it my profile picture? Does that count?
No, Bitcoin's not at 55K. I can't do it.
Well, what if I have like a couple of Bitcoins?
Wait, so when you say Bitcoin, I never know if you're talking about Bitcoin or if you're talking about Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic 10.
Uh-huh.
It's difficult to differentiate between the two.
Uh-huh.
It is.
How much Harry Potter, Obama, Sonic, Shiba Inu do you have, Bunny?
I don't have any. I just like the community, man. So I had somebody who was shilling me that coin at like a 50K market cap.
It feels like it's shitcoin season though right now, right? Like we haven't covered that in depth on this show, and I feel like Clemente.
No, we have. You just either weren't paying attention, or B, were stuck getting your passport shenanigans figured out because you didn't realize yours was expired. So we did cover that actually multiple times, but we can cover it again.
No, I mean it's all good. It sounds like you're actually doing your job, so you're still employed here. But what is the latest one? The green from our from the Bodagos community. I'm blanking. Greeny has been really hitting one banger after the next. Is that what it's in?
If you follow K Money, if you follow Greeny, honestly, if you follow Bunny, I think you'll be aware of the formal.
I prefer to highlight Bodagos, but yeah, you can shout out other people if you want, Pio.
I'm just bringing up the different people. Greeny, who is a Bodago, is absolutely one of the people that is very prolific when it comes to reporting on the current state of affairs of, I guess the formal term would be meme coins in the space. And I know that a lot of people are attracted to these things. So yes, there's a lot of action going on. The Joe coin went up by a considerable amount. Bunny, do you have the MOG coin?
I sold my MOG. I kind of wish I had. MOG is one that kind of seems undervalued. I feel like it gets a lot of attention for the market cap that it has. Right? Like I think it's at it's around 20 million. It's no higher than 20 million. I think it's the all-time high was 40. But it's like my timeline is filled with the pit vipers.
I'm like skeptical, but who knows? The Pepe I'm more interested in. How has Pepe pulled back from its recent pump? Clemente, we need the chart here.
I sold my Pepe so long ago, I couldn't tell you.
So
I feel
Pepe
like
I'm still holding strong. Nicholas, it's up 47% in the last 30 days. The big catalyst that everyone's pushing for is the Coinbase listing.
That would be quite the catalyst. If that happens, that is pretty crazy. Gemini, the old boys over there that lit their business on fire, they already put Pepe on their platform a long time ago.
Their business is still working. They're actually the only one I can use. I can't use Coinbase because I was banned from it from how I treated former employees. Actually, that was the cause that happened. They were like, we saw what you said to that person that previously worked at your company, Nick, and
sketchy behavior from Nick. Coinbase picked up on it. Well, Bunny, you have your hand raised. Bunny, I was actually about to ask you a question from a memetics perspective. What is your kind of memetic theory when it comes to MOG versus Joe versus some of these other meme coins?
I don't know, man. There's something about the pit vipers that they kind of just make me laugh, right? The other one that we haven't mentioned that's got some legs is Smurf Cat, which is that's like
Smurf Cat,
a super popular meme on TikTok. Yes. And I think K Money pointed out that like the MOG, like the word MOG has been being used on like TikTok more and more.
Oh, wow.
Well, Bunny is on top of the TikTok scene, so I
trust him.
Yeah, if he's saying that, maybe he has an inside tip here that we should be paying attention to.
Absolutely could. Clemente, you put into the call sheet here that we're 6 months away from the Bitcoin halving. So you're asking where I feel like Ordinals could go if Bitcoin pumps in the way that I expect it to. Is that right, Clemente?
Yes.
All right. Well, I think that so I've gone on record talking about. Did you just mute my mic? Oh, okay. I literally thought Nick muted my mic. I was going to be so offended. Anyway.
Now it is muted. There you go.
No, don't do that. Anyway, so I was actually talking to somebody about this last night when we had Raoul Paul on our show. If you guys recall, he compared stocks and real estate to crypto and NFTs, meaning that the liquid asset class stocks, for example, in traditional finance, that asset class moves first. And there's a 1-year lag before the illiquid asset class like real estate actually starts to move. He compared that to crypto and he said, the actual coins, the fungible tokens, Bitcoin, Ethereum, so on and so forth, they move first. And then NFTs, the illiquid asset class, despite a lot of people trying to make them liquid, moves second. They lag by a year. When people said Ordinals is dead, Ordinals was a rug, Ordinals was a grift, what they were actually saying is, I just don't understand what this is. I don't understand it at all. I don't understand what it is because it's literally a protocol built on top of Bitcoin. Someone said, here we go. Here we go as PO defines what Bitcoin Ordinals actually is because people don't understand. It's a protocol. So as there's more interest in Ordinals, there will be things built on Ordinals that attract the attention of people. I'm not saying that Bitcoin frogs. I'm not saying that OMB. I'm not saying that anything that's on Bitcoin right now is actually something worth buying. But what I'm saying is that it is a protocol that people can build on, and there will be people that build on it. And if I think that Ordinals comes back when I think, you're seeing volume in Ordinals increase right now, but I think that the all-time high for Ordinals volume comes when the all-time high for NFT volume comes, which if you buy into what Raoul Paul says and actually checks out based on the last cycle, will come after the new all-time high of Bitcoin, Ethereum, and other crypto assets. That's my thought.
What triggered your emphasis on the syllables that you apply them to? Like, where did that come from? And does that impact your throat?
Nice joke, dude. Clemente liked it. You got a big laugh out of Clemente over there.
I'm just genuinely curious. Solana rips to 12-month high despite FTX dump speculation. Easy leads. I'll step in for easy here. Solana just absolutely Solana continues to dominate. So what?
You see how rough around the edges is when you do it. I can tell that as a broadcaster,
Solana.
You have a lot. You got a lot to learn.
Solana
because it's not seamless, and it doesn't actually keep the audience engaged. You want to keep the audience engaged, while you're talking.
But where did you learn that? I'm just wondering,
from the greats, literally from the greats. I actually listen to podcasts, unlike homeboy over here.
Pio's throat seems to be impacted after every conference. So, yeah, maybe there's some other issue going on here. I don't know. But in terms of Solana leads, rips to 12-month high.
You're actually getting better as you put in more reps. So I am watching you improve. You learn pretty fast. You're pretty good at stuff.
Well,
so yeah, there you go. So you're getting better. If you want to bring in a little bit of soul, is the new coin. If you want to do it like that. Anyways,
it is pumping. The FTX wallet dump speculation. This has continued to be speculation. I don't understand why that's necessarily going to happen. This is going to be an OTC trade to some other holder that wants to buy all of it. It's not like they're suddenly they're desperate to liquidate. In fact, if they're desperate to liquidate, they'll sell it at a 10% discount to whatever the market is, and someone's going to eat that up immediately.
It's a complete nothing burger. It feels like there are stories like this in the crypto space all the time because, newsflash, a lot of people in this space have no stomach. They're scaredy cats. They really, really are. And you always hear these things like, guys, on the Bitcoin side, the Satoshi Twitter account, @Satoshi, which is just some random guy that made an account in 2018, started tweeting, and people literally were like, oh my God, Satoshi Nakamoto might be back. It's just embarrassing, man. Don't worry about the boogeyman FTX dump. I hope that FTX sells right now so we can just move on from this story. It's not going to do anything.
The thing
I like Solana to dump. Sorry.
If this had happened, if this had happened last year when FTX was mid collapsing, it would have had an impact on the price. The fact is, we're now 12 months later. Everybody now realizes that FTX doesn't have an impact on the Solana price, so it can move either direction. And like not too much, not too little, but nobody correlates the two. So that connection is completely decoupled, which is obviously an extremely positive thing for Solana. So I agree, it's a complete nothing burger, but the fact is it shows how much the market has decoupled those two entities, Solana and FTX, because this time last year, it would have had an impact, and it would have had a very negative impact.
Yeah. For sure, Sig, 1,000%. Like when Solana was dumping to literally $8, if this also happened, it would not be good. I don't even know what Nick's doing at this point.
Can we? I feel like what we should do is switch over to the. So I'm gonna go Poppet. You're gonna say.
I'm going to say, ladies and gentlemen, welcoming to the stage, we have today's partners, the team behind Plague Poppets. Specifically, we have Julie Adams. Julie, welcome to the show.
Hello, hello. Can you hear me?
We can.
Don't we have multiple people there?
Yes. Relax, Nick. Welcome to the show, Julie. Pleasure to have you. How's it going?
Going great. It's early.
Awesome. Also having Nikki on the show. Nikki, how's it going? We met in the UK at our event.
We did. I met you in London. Was it in Waxy O'Connor's?
I think that was the name of the bar that we rented. I'm not familiar with the bar, but I think it was that. Yes.
O'Connor's.
I feel it was that. Because then I told you that my friend was a massive fan of yours and he wasn't there. And I just wanted to tell him that I saw you and that he sucks. So yeah, nice to see you again.
Nice to see you too. Thank you very much. And I remember you also said that that same friend was not a fan of Nick. So I was very pleased to hear that. Just kidding. And of course, we have Massimo. Massimo, how's it going?
Massimo's muted.
Massimo's muted on StreamYard. It's okay. It's all good.
Sorry. Hey, thanks for having us.
Massimo's been on before. You've been on the show once before, right?
No.
No?
Yes.
It's a different Massimo, I guess.
Nick is just on one, ladies and gentlemen. My apologies, Massimo. He has not been on the show before.
I thought he was on. I'm sorry. I threw it all off. My apologies.
It's all right.
Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about Plague Poppets. I've given a little bit of an overview of Plague Poppets earlier on in the show, but I'd love to hear from Julie. Julie, from your perspective, as the artist behind the project, I'd love to hear what your thoughts are on Plague Poppets or excuse me, what people should know about Plague Poppets.
Well, there's a lot to know about Plague Poppets. I've been a full-time artist for the last 20 years, primarily painting and sculpture. And the pandemic gave me a chance to work on something completely new. And the idea kind of came out of nowhere, the shape of it and the name and the feeling. And something about it just felt good. Since we were in lockdown, I got to it and nothing was open. So I cut off the sleeve of my shirt to make the first Poppet.
Very cool. I love origin stories like that. That's very cool. Nick?
Well, no, I just think that's awesome. It's like a little puppet, basically. Obviously that's the name of it. What does Poppet actually mean? You said you cut off the sleeve. Can you provide a little more details on what is a Poppet?
Well, at the time, I wasn't really quite sure what they are, but in time, they became, really was more about who they are rather than what they are. They are a way for adults to play and connect and become their own Poppet character.
Have you ever played Poppet? I just didn't know.
No, I haven't.
I love Poppet, Nick. Like, Poppet is a total mood. I am appreciating these constant referrals. I just keep thinking about the advert. It's like Poppet, and then I'm not going to carry on because I'm not American.
Sorry.
Idiot, but it's a mood.
I apologize for bringing it up as well. It's just Poppet's such a good word, and I love the name of it, and it brings a level of energy and play, as you're saying, that just makes me want to. And they're cute. Some of those definitely are characters. I could see a like little animated stop motion animation style thing going on with some of those characters there. Because they really do have like an energy to them, frankly, more than a lot of the other characters I've seen in the NFT space that have aimed at being sort of televised versions. So it looks like you have done a little bit of stop motion animation with them.
We have. In effect, on our team, we have Jed Hathaway is a senior member of the stop motion community. He's the one that worked on Robot Chicken and a few other of the Cartoon Network's stop mo animation. Yeah, our website. We have shot actually quite a bit of stop motion that is going to be delivered and presented on the website. It's going to be using the website. So coming up.
It's really cool, and they've got like a whole orphanarium with all these tiny little props. The Poppets have got like tiny little backpacks, tiny little scissors. They do drawings. Like Julie's attention to detail is just insane.
How does the NFT tie into those physical elements? Because if you're crafting them with your hand, I'm curious, what's the integration?
Well, NFT Poppets mean that we can create them, we can like scale up and make obviously more while still keeping that same attention to detail and quality as Julie would do with each of her handmade with love Poppets. So the digital Poppets also have accessories, they have different hats, they have different outfits. Some of them have got little keychains, which symbolizes that they're an early adopter within our community. And the traits are interchangeable, so you can customize your Poppet and say, for instance, now we've got the Halloween limited spooky drop. You can get a little ghosty costume, and for this season, you can dress your Poppet as a ghost. But it might be that, it's closer towards Christmas, you want to put your Poppet in something a bit more festive, a bit more red, But you can get them changed, and everything within the collection is incredibly well done. It's very detailed. The attention to detail in real life Poppets and digital Poppets is kind of hand in hand. Like the stitching, man, look at the stitching on them pants. Like it is really fun.
Check out the stitching on them pants.
Fine tailoring.
Accidental catchphrases quite a lot. So check out the stitching on them pants. Playpoppets.io.
What a tagline. Definitely fine tailoring there. Julie, we kind of talked about this before, that the original Poppets were developed during the pandemic. You already kind of let us know the origin story there. We talked a little bit about the connection to enhancing mental health. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Sure. The most important thing is finding a place where, as an adult, we get to play, and we don't really realize how important and necessary play is. And science shows us that it's actually critical for adult well-being. It facilitates higher creativity, a sense of hope, a sense of humor. And experts say that playing can help people deal with depression and anxiety, and even support those with trauma.
I'm all for playing. You know what I'm saying? What's your favorite thing to play, Pia?
I like playing the part on this show with you, Nick. Don't worry about it. So look, one more question for Julie. We talked about how the Poppets started off in as physicals before the NFTs were developed. Are there any sort of interesting stories from the days of the physical Poppets? Like any kind of interesting kind of little anecdotes that you can share about that?
Yeah, this one happened. I didn't even know it happened until about a year later, but I met a woman at an event who knew who I was because her friend had adopted a Poppet and called her saying that the Poppet had an accident. And they didn't just find a needle and thread to fix him. They called the closest thing to a doctor they could find, which was my friend, who's a nurse. And she went to their house, and she told me as soon as she got there, they carefully handed the Poppet to her, and she fell in love with him. She took him home and set up an operation table and reported severe lacerations to the abdomen. She took pictures and sent them to the Poppet parents and kept him at her house for rehabilitation. And I had no idea any of this happened. It was a really wonderful story.
A bit of a Poppet emergency there. Hopefully it ended well. Sounds like they were on top of it.
Yes, he survived.
Do you sell the physicals separately? I'm just curious from a collecting standpoint. Do you sell the physicals separately?
I did adopt a couple hundred of them out during the pandemic, along with adoption papers. But right now we're kind of keeping them close to our chest to decide what we want to do with the physical Poppets.
Cool.
Very cool stuff. And we have some commenters asking about some of the details of the collection. There's some interest here from the commenters. Could we talk a little bit about, mint price, supply, availability, everything like that?
Yeah, guess we can. So mint price is 0.09 ETH. At the minute, we have got some limited edition spooky Halloween traits going on. So anyone who mints a Poppet between now, Halloween, and the 6th of November will get a spooky scene with their NFT. And they will also get with it a little spooky ghosty costume that you can get your Poppet to wear with the interchangeable trait functionality. We're doing things a little bit differently. We're not trying to mint out in a day. We're not like, that's not what drives us. Our main drive is our community and growing it meaningfully and creating a collective group of storytellers who love the Poppets as much as we do, these cute little guys. So there's going to be a max supply in this particular thread. We're doing things a little bit differently. So we have threads, which is a little bit like a fashion season for Poppets. So this current season of Poppet fashion is called the Celestial thread, which is very shiny, very sequiny, and very sort of celestial space themed. So this will be open for a few weeks, and there'll be around 2,500 max supply, but it could be any kind of number between what we're at now and 2,500. Once that thread closes, that will determine the number of Poppets within that particular thread, and then we'll open up the next thread. I felt like there was something else I was going to say, but I've totally forgotten. So I'll just leave it with you.
Yeah, well, hey, I think you covered everything. Supply will be around 2,500, maybe less, it sounds like. 0.09 ETH mint price. Sounds like there is a limited edition set of traits in honor of Halloween, like we talked about before. That's available from now until November 6th. Really cool stuff. As to the collectability, for sure. Commenters were talking about how on social media platforms like TikTok, for example, they feel that the Poppets could kind of warrant some popularity. Has there been any sort of
pop off?
They could pop off. Nick, saving me there. I missed that one. Is there any sort of social media kind of push or plan? I would just be curious to hear, how you guys are thinking about that. Obviously, you have the media background with Robot Chicken and other productions on Adult Swim. Any sort of insight, as to the future of Poppets in that regard?
Yeah, I mean, we would love to do more animation and more video, and we definitely have plans to move into that field in the future. TikTok is definitely a shout. We're on Instagram at the minute as well, so we do have some content on there. And we also have our own podcast for anyone who's interested. The podcast has been going for about 12 months, so it's an established show, and that can be streamed on Spotify or on SoundCloud as well. So that's a mixture of shows hosted by little Poppets themselves, exploring the world when you're only 6 inches tall. And then we also have, as a way to bring our community back into that storytelling vibe, we then have call-ins with our Poppets. So this one here, this Poppet short on the screen, is actually my call-in. That's my Poppet, Jeppo, and he's a total ledge. I mean, he's wild, but he's a ledge. And so we speak to our holders, and they can call into the show and be their Poppet, reconnect with that inner child, and have a little interview with the hosts of the show. These are some of the shows obviously on the screen now. So you've got the Poppet shorts. Jeppo and Ames were two of our adopted Poppets from our Genesis mint, which was a few weeks back. And then we have regular shows as well, as you can see, these ones. So there's different themes to each show. They're super cute, little voices and giggles. Sometimes Julie's cat's in there. Like, they're really fun episodes in their own right. So, and we also have comics as well, which are on Julie's Twitter. So you have kind of like that full experience and that storytelling vibe going strong, which we will only hope to do more of as we kind of go forward with the project.
Speaking of navigating the world when you're 6 inches tall, I'll be walking around Amsterdam for people later today. If you're interested, come say hello. But are you guys have you seen Marcel the Shell? I feel like is a 1 inch version of that. Do you guys source any inspiration from that?
Well, we started around the time that we started a little before than
Marcel the Shell.
Yeah.
Before the movie, yeah.
Marcel stole it from Plague Puppets.
No.
For sure.
That's the viral headline that's going to follow this show. One more question for Julie from a creative perspective. You know, obviously you all have been building this whole world. What has that world building experience been like with the intellectual property? I'd imagine, you know, to go from cutting the sleeve off of your shirt to having comics, a podcast, stop motion animation, NFTs, you know, everything there. It's like one thing leads to another, and all of a sudden you have this whole world. What's that experience been like as a creative?
Oh, it's been a trip. I mean, to cut off your sleeve and make something, and all of a sudden have a team of animators animate those characters, and be able to a lifelong dream to do the podcast. I mean, it's been wonderful, and I think it's important to mention that at this point, you know, the Plague Puppets don't belong to me anymore. They belong to all of us. And so one of my greatest joys is to see other people participate and use their imagination and become Poppets. It's very exciting.
Here's hoping the Poppets pop off.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Look, you know, Nikki, Massimo, Julie, anybody from the team, any closing thoughts that people need to know before we remind people where they can go to get the Poppets, the NFTs, that is, any other thoughts that people should know about Poppets or anything that maybe we missed?
Yeah, one thing that I wanted to add. Massimo.
Two things. There we go. Go ahead.
I wanted to say one important thing. There is a built-in license back when you buy a Poppet NFT, where eventually, once we're going to be producing content that may be monetized, and we pick puppets from the owners, that licensing feature is already built in the license that is there today. So owners could license that puppet back to us. You could share some of the monetization of the content, and so we think that is a really cool feature to engage the community to co-create with us.
Absolutely, and that's been popular with other NFT collections in the past. So definitely great to note, Nikki.
Two things. So first of all, after the limited edition spookies are no longer a vibe after the 6th of November, there is still a possibility of minting a rare. The Celestial thread, the rare within this thread is the Celestial trait. So, you know, if you still want to mint one after that window's open, we're keeping things open for a bit longer because we want to be as inclusive as possible. Not everyone's got ETH right now. Everyone's not in the best boat right now, let's be real. So we're keeping that open to get as many people who are interested in as possible. You can still get a rare. And the only other thing we haven't mentioned really is the fact that each Poppet, we have an AR app as well, and as part of that we have an inbuilt journaling feature which is like on chain, so it's going to stick with your Poppet forever. So you can take a photo with your Poppet. I don't know, you might go somewhere cool, Amsterdam for example, red light district maybe, and you might take a picture of your Poppet there with the AR app and then add a little journal entry, and then that will stay on chain with your Poppet forever. So if say Pio, who went to the red light district and had a Poppet
last night at 4 a.m.
Yeah, exactly. That would be part of the journal entry, geotagged and everything. And if that was then to be sold in the future, whoever bought Pio's Poppet could look back and see what that Poppet had been up to. Might not want to read that entry at 4 a.m. in the red light district, but it would be on chain forever and go with that Poppet. So it has like a live journaling feature, which is really cool and not something that a lot of other projects are really doing. And that ties into the mental health aspect. If we move away from that sordid tale at 4 a.m. and we use the journal for, like, you know, you're documenting how you feel or where you've been or something that's been meaningful to you on that day, it's another way of getting creative storytelling, but using this science of play to enhance and boost your mental health and well-being.
Incredible. And we have more of the stop motion or the animation, pulled up on screen right now. This looks like it's a Halloween one. Very, very cool stuff. So ladies and gentlemen, the Twitter account is at Plague Poppets. That's at PLAGUEPOPPETS. And you can mint a Poppet. Clemente is going to have the link on the Twitter Spaces. It's plaguepoppets.io/mint. That's plaguepoppets.io/mint. Julie, Nikki, Massimo, whole team. Thank you guys so much for coming. This was fantastic.
Woo! Thanks for having us. Enjoy the rest of your time in Amsterdam, guys.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Our pleasure. Thank you guys so much for joining. We'll play a Seattle-based musician in honor of Julie being on the show and being